Global Times, 10th of November 2022, China says India shouldn't buy what the US sells while Yellen is away. Reuters reported that US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen left for India on Tuesday. While there, she will attend the US-India Economic and Financial Partnership discussion in New Delhi and meet with Indian Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Yellen's visit happened when the Indian economy was doing better than others, even though the world economy was still in trouble. IMF data shows that India's economy will grow by 6.8% this year, while the world's economy is only expected to grow by 3.2%. It looks like India's industrial boom is beginning to pay off and is picking up speed. Bloomberg reported that Apple's contract maker Pegatron started assembling iPhone 14 models in India last week. Pegatron is the second Apple supplier to make the iPhone 14 in South Asia. The US wants to strengthen its economic ties with India, which makes sense given India's economic potential. However, the two countries have different goals regarding their trade and financial relationship. Also, the US still seems to have China as its primary goal, even though it is working more closely with India. Look at Yellen's trip to India as an example. Focusing on the similarities between the world's two most prominent democracies, Yellen will likely talk about friendshoring, which means shifting supply lines away from China and toward US allies. Some Indians may like the rhetoric, but it could also warn India that the US's interest in the country may have more to do with politics than its economic strength. It is no secret that the US and India greatly rely on China's supply chains. It is also clear that the US is trying to use allies like India to weaken China's industrial chain for its reasons, not for other countries' economic reasons. Since everyone wants to break away from communist China, India will only hurt its goals if it follows the US's plan to weaken its trade and economic ties with China. Even though the US and India's security and political ties have grown stronger in recent years, Washington still sees India as a geopolitical ally to keep China in check and carry out its so-called Indo-Pacific strategy. The main proof is that the Biden government no longer wants to open up new markets or make trade deals with India. India does not want this from its close ties with the US. India wants the US to give its exports back the Generalized System of Preferences, GSP, benefits and has been pushing for a free trade deal between the two countries. Still, neither the Trump nor Biden administrations seemed interested in such a deal. The fact that the two countries haven't made much progress and still have disagreements over economic and trade problems shows that their trade needs are different, so it's hard for trade between the US and India to go smoothly. Some might say that India has a trade balance with the US, which has been growing over the past few years. However, because the US economy is shrinking, India needs to be aware that its rising trade surplus could lead the US to build more barriers to trade or even trade sanctions against India in the future. India should stick to its Atman or Bharat plan and keep China out of the supply chain. That might give it more negotiating power regarding trade talks with the US. At the same time, India needs to broaden its exports by becoming more involved in the Asia-Pacific industrial chain, which China leads.